Ladies and gentlemen, the following is scheduled for one fall. It is time for That Way Cool Wrestling Show! Hey everybody, welcome to That Way Cool Wrestling Show right here on the DJB Productions Network. My name is Danny J. I want to welcome you right back into the network. Make sure you're hitting the subscribe button down below. Hit the notification bell. And as always, make sure you're sharing the channel. I am joined today by my good friends, Mad Mark Lindsay.
Good morning, everybody. How are you?
We got Charles Gemini Gregory.
What's up?
What's up? And we got my man, Onslaught himself, LeGrande Jackson.
Hey now.
What's going on, guys? It's been a little while since we've been back in the studio, but I wanted to bring us back into here. We had a lot going on this channel. A lot of crazy wrestling shows have been going on, but this is the granddaddy of them all, and we're coming back right here for you, the fans, so we can get some shit going on right here. Today, we're going to be talking about Impact Wrestling. How can we save it? How can we save it? I know Mark's been dying to do this show.
Dying's right. I've been dying
to do the show.
Hey, Mark, you better rub the genie in the lamp and get 3 wishes on this one, man.
You know,
I only need 1 wish.
well, you know, the funny thing was, they were starting to do okay when Anthem got involved and they started cleaning some stuff up. They moved to Canada, obviously for cost-cutting purposes. Although a good idea to get themselves out of the red, the fans were really not reacting to a lot of stuff, if you noticed.
Right.
They really weren't. It was like watching New Japan. They were like, yes. And I think that even actually you would hear them like going like this. And no sound was coming out of their mouths. I mean, it was like really, really weird. When you could hear the wrestlers talking over the announcers.
Oh my God.
The production was a little goofy with that sense. So once COVID hit and it became a empty arena show, I couldn't watch anymore because in my eyes, they are trying to do sports entertainment, but on such a low budget that if you're going to do sports entertainment, I'm not a sports entertainment fan, but if you're going to try and do it, you got to do it at WWE, WCW level, or don't do it at all. I mean, would you guys agree? Because it's something where Impact was looking like an amphitheater, and was looking like I was watching a play.
I'm not gonna say that for sure because if they would have did it correctly,
yes,
like me and Mark said, like I'm gonna go with this. So Mark, I would have shot one side.
Studio, make it like a studio
like
wrestling program. Yep.
And I think the biggest thing that I noticed when I was watching, the wrestlers aren't working tight. They're working horrible. They're working real shitty. You need to. I mean, you have to start by. That's the first thing. You got to give them a good product. You got to give them a good match.
Yes.
And I watched some of the matches. You can tell they're just going through the motions. I mean, LeGrande can, he can testify on this. That if you're not working tight, and you can see like bullshit punches and you're selling, everybody can see it. If we notice it easily, a fan's like, "Oh, this looks like shit."
Well, if you notice, production-wise, like they're right up in their faces. Like Impact makes the wrestlers look bigger than they do in WWE.
Yeah, but
like,
you can't get that close because you can read their lips. I mean, I can see them calling spots. I hate to say that. Maybe that's what we look for.
Let me touch upon something Dan said, that he thinks that sports entertainment has to be done on a big budget. I don't totally agree with that, but I don't disagree with that. Okay. I think our biggest problem with WWE is not the sports entertainment aspect of it. It's the comical stuff. It's the comedy. It's the poor booking. I'm okay with sports entertainment. You need sports entertainment in 2020. There was sports entertainment in '86 NWA too, when Dusty Rhodes and Magnum TA wore masks to take on the. I mean, that was all hokey too, but it was better. It was more believable back then, and that's where I'm at. If Impact would have a more believable sports entertainment, less hokey, then it's fine. You can have a good balance of wrestling and entertainment, but nobody other than maybe AEW has found that good mix.
Here's the deal. I think when it comes to the sports entertainment side of it, Impact Wrestling, like their wrestling matches do not look any different than their promos. Do you kind of get what I'm saying with that? Like, in other words, when you let's go to WWE for a second, and you have a backstage promo, right? You're right up in my face. We're talking. The camera's mysteriously there, and I'm not really bothered by a guy filming my private conversation with somebody else, blah, blah, blah. And that's happening in the back in Impact, right? But then that same style of production is in the ring. And now watching, like, if these guys stop talking and just started wrestling right there, that's what I'm getting out of it. I'm not getting that they're in the ring performing as athletes anymore. I'm still getting really hokey. I need to really get over the fact of my sports entertainment, of my charisma or my character or whatever point I'm trying to make in this sports entertainment writing that I was given for my character, and it's taken away from the wrestling. Like,
but do you think? I understand what you're saying, and I understand what Mark's saying.
Right.
But if they're going to do it, I kind of like what AEW is doing and leaving it up to the boys sometimes.
Yep. Yeah.
I feel that when you look at, I watch Impact. I'm looking at it. I don't know who's writing the stories, but I could tell it's not boys. I could tell there's a lot of marks, there's a lot of writers. I get it, but you got to mix that writers with the boys to see how it can be done. You can't go like, if you watch, the worst thing that WWE has done, and I'm going to use them as an example, SmackDown is so horrific, I can't even watch it. It looks like...
And let's break that down, because you make a very good point. I don't think you even know the point you're making. In WWE and in Impact, break it down right now. What is the problem that we don't like with WWE?
The writing is too commercial. You gotta go back to old. Look, if you're gonna do wrestling, you gotta tell a story. They're telling the story, but they're doing a story like it's some kind of movie.
I can't do. That I can't do.
With COVID going on, with COVID happening, now was the time to try everything. They could have gone back to the 90s because nobody's watching anyway. The ratings are down. There's no fans in the arena. There's only trainers or trainees.
We're saying they're like Raw is War type of thing.
No. I'm not saying Attitude Era. I'm saying if they were ever going to experiment, now was the time to do it. Because guess what, guys? Baseball's back. Basketball's back in about a week. Hockey playoffs start soon. The NFL is scheduled to start on time. So everybody who's watching wrestling now, and there's not a lot because ratings are down, now was the time to experiment trying new things. And they didn't.
But you're saying that, Mark, but if you watch NXT, they're on the right path. I think NXT is working the way they're doing it. And like SmackDown, I watch SmackDown, I'm like, I can't even look at it no more. I just can't.
Raw and SmackDown are horrendous.
What I get from people, and NXT really is like the only true good product in WWE in my eyes.
It is.
It really is. It really is. I think their problem is that AEW is doing that much better.
No, their problem.
I really think there is.
Their problem is every time they build someone, the main roster steals them and they squash them.
Yep.
Like Adam Cole should stay in NXT.
Well, like we said before, NXT was slowly becoming the main show.
Yes.
Rather than Raw was and stuff like that.
They didn't like that.
And they're still treating it like a feeder. And that's a big problem when your best product is your feeder.
Yes. There you go. So
how well is what's the name doing? That went to I guess he went to Impact. Matt Riddle.
Yes.
He won the IC title. He dropped it, right?
Yes.
And
Matt Riddle didn't win the Intercontinental title.
Are you sure? I thought he won it against. Unless I was looking at something that a fan put it on him.
He challenged AJ. I don't think he won it.
Okay. I don't watch WWE, and I admittedly say that. I just see what comes up in the dirt sheets and shit like that.
But I thought Riddle didn't Riddle win the IC title?
I thought he did. No,
he won it years ago and came back, didn't he?
No.
Okay,
no.
my bad. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was still with him when he was on the indie circuit, and that wasn't but a couple years ago.
But like I'm saying, if you watch the product, Impact should go NXT route. Show a better story. Cut the stories. They're trying to be too broad.
Well, you know what you gotta say. You gotta go back. You gotta go back to the beginning, like you said, and tell the story in the ring.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing. Ricky Steamboat said that to me. He goes, nobody does that anymore,
Nope.
and that's why wrestling is not the way it was.
Nope.
Nobody tells it. Nobody knows how to tell a story in the
And
ring.
I'm not saying that because I was a past worker. It sits better with people. When
Right.
you try to drag out these storylines too far, if you miss a week or two, suppose you're on vacation, you come back and you don't even know what the hell's going on. Slot will tell you, Slot, we used to write stories. We'd have to change the whole story when we did a show. But in the beginning of the show, you knew what was happening because I would tell the story all over again
Yeah.
in some form.
Right.
That you could, I mean, you could,
You knew the beginning and you knew the end. You had to get the middle together.
You could catch on, and if you had workers that knew what they were doing, they could tell a little bit of the story in the ring themselves. That's just the bottom line.
Here's the problem with WWE, though. The WWE fans, based on how they are presented, the product, based on how they've been conditioned all these years, okay? And Mark,
I'm going to stop you. I'm going to stop you right there, because Dan, you need to understand something. Please forgive me. I'm not trying to be rude.
No, but you will be.
The point that you're going to try to make, because I know what you're going to say.
I think I knew it too.
You need to understand something. Ratings are at an all-time low. So the fans that you're talking about, they're not watching anymore.
Nope.
So you need to update your opinion. You need
well,
to.
No. My point was going to be is that the WWE fan, they're not interested in watching wrestling. They're not interested in watching the story unfolding inside the ring. They want those vignettes. They want those promos. And
I disagree.
They want those outlandish storylines. And those fans, I'm telling you right now, because I'm seeing it on different posts and stuff like that, they are loving, which I can't stand it personally, those movie type shit. Like what was it, Undertaker and whatever?
Hold on, let me cut them off. Mark, let me cut them off. The younger fans.
Yeah. They are young. They're young.
You're like
young.
7 to the age 13, yeah. If you're 13, if you're 13 to 20, I'm gonna say, okay, you still want the big spots. You want the spots. You want that. The movie thing after 1 or 2 times, like the Undertaker thing, okay, that was cool. All right, but you can't keep doing it. The one with Hardy and Sheamus, that shit was horrible.
Right.
Only thing he did was the Brother Nero thing, but we know what that is, but a lot of other people don't know.
But here's the deal, though. The fans that are steadily watching that product, they're like, oh, this is the greatest fucking thing I ever saw in my life.
Yeah, but if you do it...
Not.
They're saying it online.
Mark, hold on, Mark.
They're saying it online.
Wait a minute, hold on.
And I'm laughing.
Wait a minute, they'll say it this week, right?
Yeah, next week or
the week after. They're like, okay, this shit's getting redundant. You know what I mean? This is retarded.
What are you gonna do? What have you done for me lately? Isn't that what Janet Jackson said?
Now, like when I watch the NXT matches, dude, they hit hard, like the Velveteen Dreams, Adam Cole. Them dudes are hungry still. All right.
Yeah.
That's what you need to put back in wrestling. Impact needs to put that back in wrestling. WWE, AEW's kind of doing it most of the time. For a person like Cody Rhodes and his brother Dustin, Dustin goes out there and gives 150%. You can see the difference when you watch their matches.
Yep.
This shit, sometimes you watch, I'm like, oh my God, this sucks. And I'm not just saying that because I was a worker. And shit, I mean, they made it. I can't say anything. I wasn't there. But geez, I'm like, you suck. If I could say, and Slaughter will say the same thing, if you got in the ring and did that to me, I'll stiff the shit out of you. Because it's horrible. But they let it go. You got to tighten up the product. You got to let these guys get just a little bit of freelance. You can't control them, everything they do.
If you give a little bit of power back to the talent,
just a little,
then you're going to start to get back to the era of a Roddy Piper, a Hulk Hogan, where these guys, I know there's a lot of guys out there that are not over and could be over.
But you say that.
I honestly think that.
Hold on, Mark. I don't want to. Mark, tell me if you agree. I want Mark to agree. So, Dan, shut up.
I agree with you, Charles.
Wait a minute. All the great workers that they have right now, WWE, all their great workers, those dudes did indies. They weren't created by the WWE. They were indie guys. They know what they're doing. Samoa Joe. Ziggler.
Yeah, but they're not allowed to do. But they're not allowed to do their thing, though.
Hold on, but you can still, when you watch them, you can tell the difference.
in the ring.
In the ring, even when they do a promo, you can tell the difference.
But they're so scripted though. Even the guys that can't.
No,
I mean,
you can say they're scripted.
They are though.
Wait a minute. Let me finish. Shut up. You can say they're scripted, but you can tell by the tone of the voice, the movements that they have. You can tell they've been in the indies. Some of these guys just suck.
Well, you know what it is? They could take the script
and
present it a lot differently than some of the guys that came out of the plant.
Listen.
You're absolutely right.
I've been there with that man at the bottom, Onslaught. In the middle of a promo, he would change the whole thing up, and I tried not to laugh. And you would see me, and I'm like, oh, this son of a bitch. But we would just keep going with it. These guys nowadays, if you did that, they would have to cut and start all over again. But all he's doing is adding something that the people want to see. Impact needs to go back and give these guys a little bit of freedom. Not a lot. You don't want them to go crazy, okay?
Well, here's what happens.
You give them no, wait a minute. Let me finish. Shut up. Let me finish. Give them Mark, tell me if I'm right. You give them a little bit of freedom. You keep them on a short leash.
Yes.
But you give them a little bit of freedom.
You need to allow them to get over on their own, and then if they don't, then you step in, and then you kind of direct them.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah. Yes.
Because if you're getting over on your own, you're hungry, dude.
Losing their audience was a big thing. Not a huge thing because it's about as exciting as it was when they had people in the stands, unfortunately. But you then go through a stage where they lose a number of people, not a number of key people.
Yeah.
Be it right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm not picking up or offending anybody.
It's called money, man.
Tessa Blanchard, she fucked up, and they got rid of her.
I got a little secret for you though. Wait a minute. You can say it all you want. Tessa was the only one in that ring 90% of the time, looking like she was hungry, giving it 150%. Okay, she's young, she's stupid, whatever. But when she went out there, she slowed. Wait a minute, she slowed down so they could keep up with her.
I don't know if this is an actual confirmation. Mark, you might have heard this, and you might be able to confirm this or not. But they said that they actually went to her. They said, "All right, you're still in Mexico, whatever the case is. We're letting you go. We need the belt back." And she asked for $150,000 for that belt. And they said the belt is only worth $10,000 to $25,000. So fuck you, keep it. We'll make a new one, right? Which is what they did, and now Eddie Edwards is your Impact champion.
That's very Jim Herd of Impact Wrestling.
Yeah, right. But that came out now. Whether that's a conference, that seems like a really outlandish, not to quote Zicky Dice, but a very outlandish number from her.
I don't think that's real.
But based on how she perceives herself in the locker room. Yeah. Could she possibly be up there? Maybe they embellished the number a little bit.
Listen, wait a minute, man.
I don't know.
Listen.
I love her. I love her to death, but she's to be an asshole.
No, you got people. Sure, her dad's behind her. He knows what he's doing. Yeah. You got people like Sami Callihan. You got those dudes like that. They are still hungry. They work. And Impact needs to get a better wellness policy because, listen, I like Tyra Valkyrie, but she's getting chunkier every week. All right.
I take that healthy bitch.
Wait a minute. What's her name? Jordine Grace. She
got Jordine Grace. She
got a fat ass. Wait a minute. But she still needs to tighten it up.
I don't have my phone with me, dude. I have her all over my phone. Jordine Grace.
Wait a minute. Now, if you watch WWE when it comes to their females, and I was never a fan of the Iconics, but the bigger one has slimmed down a lot.
Yes, she did.
She looks really good. I was like, wow, like damn. But they got to get better on their wellness policy. Tell these guys you got to stay in shape.
Well, WWE was always big on, I need you to look like a model. They always were. Always were.
Hold on.
Always were.
Hold on. They always were, but if you're going to put this product on TV, like you're saying, you're trying to fix a product, you need to do more of this.
But Jordine Grace, though, is a powerhouse. She's a power lifter.
She still needs to slim it down because when she bumps, listen, when she bumps, she jiggles, bro. Sorry.
She's healthy. I like it.
You know what? Damn. See, that's why you don't need to be writing storylines, right there.
Right there.
Right there. I mean,
here we go.
She works tight. She works good.
She does
but
work
I would tell her to try to drop 20 pounds. You know what I mean? That's all. It's not much.
I think they have bigger things in problem because then when they got rid of Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal was, but when they got rid of Michael Elgin.
I don't know.
He got suspended, I think, for backstage altercations.
That
I
was
think
the
it was.
whole. That was the whole movement with the speaking out movement. Michael Elgin is some bad news right there. I think.
Yeah.
No one's touched him since.
That's
And
right.
I kind of heard that before, that like he's hard to work with. He's kind of he started trouble in ROH, I think.
They say he's a douche.
Yeah, that's what I heard backstage. Like he starts a lot of arguments.
But
and
can I say one thing? Can I say one thing, Slot? I need your input on this. I blame that on the back room too, because back in the day, you started, you get punched in the face. All right, wrestling is a work. I used to tell my guys all the time, what we do is a work. I can fight for real. I'll punch you in the fucking face. All right. If the back room's not controlling them, I blame that on some of the old heads and the management.
Yeah.
If he's going to act like that, he goes in the bathroom, someone go in there and punch him in his mouth. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. That's the bottom line. It's just the bottom line.
Wrestling, football, hockey, baseball, it's all the same shit. You get a guy who's out of line, you need to rein him back in. Reggie White was the guy for the Eagles. He would take you into the locker room, he would clear it out, and he would air you the fuck out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, I've been sitting here, I've been quiet, I've been contemplating this whole thing and working out some shit in my head. To be honest with you, Impact Wrestling, I really don't give a fuck. Okay?
Welcome aboard, LeGrande!
I'm gonna be honest with you. And the reason why I don't give a fuck is because it looks like they don't give a fuck.
Right.
You got guys in the ring throwing air punches. You got guys calling spots, this, that, and the other. You got a bunch of talented fucking people trying to make shit
shine.
Not even.
No, damn.
Matter of fact, they're making sandcastles out of pudding, and it's fucking pissing me off. I've seen it for the longest time that you bring in Heath Slater, you bring in fucking the brothers of the whatever the fuck they were.
The Good Brothers. Yeah.
And the Bullet Club. Let's just call them the Bullet Club. You bring in all these fucking phenomenal people who can tell a story, who can do this, who can do that, and you hamstring them. You give them the most minimum stuff to work with, and all you're gonna get is like you said, give them a little leash and let the dogs play. Because
you got like with Slot Slaying, like Heath Slater, you can work with him.
Yeah,
he has the look.
He's the only guy who survived the ban.
Yeah, you're right.
When all of the other members were fired, they kept him around because as much of a dick as he came off, he was actually entertaining. As much of a dick as he came off, he actually had the body. He actually had talent.
I still believe, now this is just me, he'll be back one day because he's just that type of dude. The locker room loved him. He gave it all. He gave it his all. Dudes like that, you do not want to let go. That's like R-Truth. R-Truth gives it his all. No matter what you do with him, he makes it work. Guys like that, you have to.
R-Truth is kind of like R-Truth.
The fact that he's almost 60 years old and he looks like he's fucking 30. The guy's in phenomenal shape. And he can go better than some of the kids.
R-Truth though. R-Truth comes off like Dusty Rhodes did, where he's like, you can put me in anything you want, and I'm gonna make it shine like it's a fucking diamond.
Well, you need guys like that. Let's get back to Impact, all right?
Yeah.
Mark, I need you on this. You need guys that actually care. If you're there for a check, you don't need to be there.
Right.
If you're going to rebuild, if you're going to rebuild, let me just get this out there. You can weed out who's there for a check. You can tell. Some of these guys, you got fired from here. You're not worth all this money. I'm sorry. I can bring in 5 young guys from like ROH or something who are going to give you 150% every damn day to build a product. That's who you have to use if you're going to try to rebuild. Okay, you can use the veterans, but they have to understand when you come, you have to give it your all. Like I was just saying to Mark earlier, EC3, I think he's going to do his new promo. I think he had a lot to do with that. I actually enjoyed it. I was like, shit.
And you're not an EC3 fan. And you're not an EC3 fan. No,
I'm like, this is original. I like this. I really, I was like, damn.
I always said he's someone to work with, and I know you said he's very robotic, and I
robotic.
And I get what you're
Yes.
saying. I watch him. I try and see that, and I do see that. But I think he's a raw talent type of guy.
But
he doesn't have the body.
He's another one. He's another one that's been around a long time, and it's about time. Either you step up and be a leader, give it your heart, or step the fuck out, and I'll bring someone else in who's going to give it their all.
Let's say who they got. They brought in Eric Young. They brought in the Motor City Machine Guns, which I think is a great one.
I've always liked Eric Young.
Eric Young's great, and I don't think I think aside from when they started to give him that boost in sanity, NXT totally dropped the ball with him because of how physically talented he is in the ring.
Well, the whole insanity thing was a great thing, but when they came up, they didn't let him stay with it. So,
right. You know, and that's what he actually said. That he said this was something he worked very closely with Hunter, and said, you know, it was something where they had all their ducks in a row per se. Yep. And then it all went to shit.
No, that wasn't Hunter. That was Vince and them that did that.
Well, that's what he said. He said it wasn't up to who he was. It wasn't up to who he was working with.
They don't let shit flesh out.
No.
If it doesn't pop within week 2, oh my God, it's dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's not going to do the Bray Wyatt thing. We release the crows or here I come or whatever the fuck his catchphrase was, and you got the light.
And you know the good example of
whatever the fuck that was.
The good example of that. The good example of that slot. And I used to hate them. Then I used to see them and crack up. Was the Spirit Club. When they first came out, I was like, this shit is retarded. And after like week 6, I'm like, these guys are assholes.
You know what like that too? The MIA over in WCW.
I forgot all about them. Damn.
Yeah. When they first started, we were like, this is just dumb. They're repackaging guys that are like have no storylines.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, they became the top faction for the next 3 months. But it took them a month to do it.
Before Dan gets all ADD, because Dan's all over the place here, I'm going to reel it back in.
Thank you, Mark.
Charles, you made a great point, Charles, and you said, you know, these wrestlers are looking to make money. And I, as a fan, I question how much money Impact has. We all know they're struggling. We all know that they're being held up by a company, Anthem, which has the TV deal in place. I don't know that Impact Wrestling is making money. We don't know that. I don't know how they're going to do it with
fans. They bought the station. You realize that, right?
Right.
I will say something.
Anthem bought the station.
Yeah.
Let me go back. As a worker, all right, you're always there to make money. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I don't want to say it like that. You're always there. You got to make a living. You got to, you got families.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a big job where you got a pension and all this shit. We know wrestlers that made fortunes and now they're living in cars and shit because they didn't budget it right. Or they put it up their nose or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But you still have to come.
Shot it in their ass.
There's still a reality of this thing that you're there. It's about making a living. It's about taking care of your family. But if you're going to go to Impact and Impact wants to repackage, they got to do like a salary cap like the NFL or the NBA. If we're bringing, everything's going to be under this salary. It doesn't matter. If you don't want to be here for this, I'll try to work it. If not, sorry, go somewhere else. There's not a lot of places to go. So I think you can get some of this talent a little bit cheaper, but you tell them you don't have to wrestle.
A lot of guys.
You don't have to wrestle, 20 times a month. I'll make you wrestle 10 times a month.
Charles, can I touch, Dan, before you, I know, Dan, let me just touch upon that, because I think Charles makes a great point. I want to provide, at this time in the show, we're about 25 minutes in, I want to give you my number one. Wait, you guys know what I feel about Impact. You guys, I'm like LeGrande. I said, fuck it. You know, they're done. Yeah. They're like a girlfriend that broke up with me, and I never want to see her face again because of all the times I thought they were going to get that next level, and then they shit it away.
Well, hold on, Mark. But every now and then she gave good head, and you remember that.
So you so you try to remember.
That's why you kept going back.
So you try to remember the good times, but you're like, So I need a minute here, Dan. So please let me just say this.
Yeah, Dan, shut up.
Right. My point, how I would save Impact. A lot of people watching the show, now we know because we grew up in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
We knew that when ECW started, they were built on Sandman, Rockin' Rebel, JT Smith, Glenn Osborne, DC Drake, Tony Stetson, and they brought in Eddie Gilbert, Terry Funk, Superfly Snuka, Magnificent Morocco. They brought in big names to work with this talent. And ECW started out
Tommy
as this
Cairo.
independent. Yes, Tommy Cairo.
Yeah.
Great. I love Tommy Cairo. I was a big fan. So you bring in these established veterans who are probably past their prime, but they helped establish a younger, unknown local talent.
Yes.
And what happened was ECW grew a cult following. I'm talking 93, 94 ECW.
Yeah.
So when you ask me how I would save Impact Wrestling, I would make it more. And another thing, guys like Stan Hansen, Abdullah the Butcher, they all wrestled in ECW. They would do these one-offs, like Road Warrior Hawk would come in the month of April and then wouldn't come back until August. But he was still intertwined with the storylines. It was a territory system, one of the last of the business. I would make Impact Wrestling a place like ECW, not with the wrestling wise, not hardcore,
Right.
but a place for talent to go when they're trying to establish their next move. So when you look back at ECW, you see Cactus Jack. Cactus Jack got fired by WCW, by Eric Bischoff in 94, went to ECW, had a very dominant 1994-95, and then went on to WWE. Stone Cold. Steve Austin came in, was the Extreme Superstar, was in a feud for the ECW World title, but was trying to find himself, and then got signed as the ringmaster in WWE. So they kind of used ECW as like a place to go to kind of like, okay, I need to establish myself.
Restart. Restart. Yeah.
I would use...
And they never shit on the company. That was the cool part.
Right. No. Right, because Heyman let them do what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
Right.
So what you do is you kind of use Impact has a TV deal. Like I said, they don't have a lot of money, but their station bought the channel. They're gonna have TV.
Yeah.
So I say that Impact Wrestling becomes the in between. You got let go from WWE. Okay, Heath Slater, you come on in. We would love to have you for a month, 2 months, a year. You find out what your next move is, and in the meantime, you work your craft on our station, on our promotion, and you help get talent over.
So you
and
give 90-day contracts then.
90-day contracts, perfect, because you can help. You can tell a story, end the story, and you're not tied to anything. And that's how I would use it. That's how I would save Impact Wrestling. Have it be known that it's a territory that you sign exclusive contracts. So Sami Callihan, fine, sign him to an exclusive contract. I'm not familiar with a lot of the talent, but you sign a group of like 10 people to like long-term deals. Yeah. They're the 10 people that you're going to establish. And then everybody else comes in on 90-day deals that works with those 10 people. And then you just take it from there and use it like a feeder system. So if they want to go to New Japan, they can. If they want to go to AEW, they can. But they use Impact to elevate Impact's ratings. Because let's be honest, as much as I shit on Impact, they were the talk of the town last week. They were all over Twitter. They were all over the websites. They were all over social media. They did great. And I got to give them credit where it's due.
And that's because Slammiversary was a hit.
Right. Yeah. So I give them credit for that.
Like Mark's saying, you got all these guys right now from NWA who are unsure.
Right.
Yep. You can start bringing them in because they're going to lose the Sami Callahans in them soon.
Yeah, that's true.
I think AEW is going to pick up Callahan. I do. People say they don't get along with people in the locker room, but I love what he does. I don't give a shit. He might be an asshole. I remember meeting him years ago. He seemed to be cool, but you don't know now. But I like what he does. All right.
Right.
So you got to start building other guys behind him who are willing to give it their all. What's that big guy's name? I can't remember that runs around with Callahan.
Oh no! I know
what is his name? I can't think about it real now.
I know you.
He's like 6'10", the big dude.
Yeah. I know you don't.
Mark, you know how I can't remember right now. I'm sorry.
You think I watch Impact? Please.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's a matter of time that he's going to be gone because someone's going to pick him up, or someone in Japan's going to take him. But you take these guys and be like, listen. You're welcome back anytime.
Well, you mentioned a good point there because Guns and Gallows went to Impact solely for the fact because they could split their time between here and New Japan.
Yep.
Yes.
And a lot of other places didn't want to allow them to do that. So because a lot of people are like, why would you go to Impact of any place? You're leaving the WWE. Why would you go there? Why wouldn't you go to AEW? Because of that. Let's face it, they make more money in Japan anyway.
Yes.
They're already a sold fucking commodity there.
They were making more money in Japan before they came to the WWE, apparently.
Right. So they can go back there at any time, and they can be the Hulk Hogan of wrestling.
Yeah.
in Japan. Why wouldn't you do it? I mean, so that's the thing. Now, for me, if you notice, they lost those couple people, and I said, oh, here's the killer point. They lost Tessa. They lost Michael Elgin. Who the hell else is left in there, right?
Yeah.
Then they're talking about, oh, the North, who are not a bad tag team, but they're put together there. And they're like, oh, they have a 400-day reign as the tag team champions. They're record-breaking. Yeah, because there's no tag teams in their fucking thing. Of course, if you're not defending, you're not going to lose the title, right?
Yeah, but you know, look, you know how that is.
But let me finish. They bring in people. What do? The Guns come in. They win the title on their debut, their return debut, right? They changed every champion. They changed every champion. They obviously had to change the Impact title because Tessa was gone, right?
Yeah.
But then they the kid that won the X Division title, I used to watch him in Ring Warriors, and he's a good wrestler. I forget his name. The black kid. He's got the real long hair now.
I know you're talking.
I can't think of his name, but he was really, really good.
Hold on, I'll think of his name in a minute.
I don't know who the girl is, but they obviously, I don't even know who the champion was. I thought it was Jordan Grace, but she lost to somebody, and he looks like a pretty good looking wrestler. And then thanks, Mark. And then then I could tell that's Mark's sound effect to say I'm working on it. And then obviously now here's an interesting thing. When Tessa was in Mexico, they didn't have anything to work with. They had that one night only. They did it on Access TV. They did like the best of TNA, because it's their history, and it got high ratings. So Access went to Anthem and said, "Listen, we want more TNA stuff." That obviously popped for fans. And gave us a ratings boost. So they brought back the TNA title, as you saw. They made Moose the champion, right?
Yeah.
And it was kind of a good idea to say, all right, we do have a world champion. Even though our world champion's confined to another country, we have somebody that can defend a title, right?
Yeah.
So now that title's still there, which kind of, I guess in a way, if you say the TNA championship could be their mid-card title now, if they keep it around. Like, they have a TNT title.
It's kind of like the IC champion. All right.
And that's the level of it. But as you see in AEW, it's the TNT champion. It's not a television title, which we know it is. But it's not a television. This could be their television title.
I hate to say the FTW title is better than the TNT title.
Right.
It is, though. It is.
Well, I'm a fan of the TNT title. The TNT title is a TV title.
Yeah. It is. It really is.
Yes.
And what I would do, though, honestly, and he put his work in, and good for you. You did your stuff. Josh Matthews has to go. I'm done with his voice. They need new commentary blood in there. Don Callis was not bad on the mic, but Josh Matthews, I'm completely over it with him. I can't listen to him anymore. Dan,
I hate to say this. I hate to say this though. I could care less about the commentators. Let's get the product, and then you can bring.
But the product, that's the only thing. But that's the only thing I'm hearing. Because the fans ain't saying nothing. You understand what I'm saying? So I gotta have the commentators be good. You know what I mean? So I need somebody a little bit different.
It's a lot different listening to an empty arena match.
It is. It really is.
Jim Ross.
Yeah.
Then there is
the mic, or Jerry Lawler behind the mic.
Mike, you're right.
Or what's his face? My favorites. What's his name? In NXT. Mauro Ronaldo.
Yeah.
He is the best in the business right now.
No, he's not. You know what they need? Impact needs to go back and find Joey Styles and bring Joey Styles and let him do it.
If they brought Joey Styles back, the boom that would happen over there.
But then they could do that. Remember how they used to do that ECW shit when Joey Styles would announce the match, show clips, and he would talk to it? If they had to, they could do that.
Joey Styles must have pissed the wrong person off because that bastard can't get a job anywhere.
He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to.
He's out of the business. Yeah.
But he was. And look, I'm just saying it. I'm not saying it to say it. He was the best there was. When he used to call matches, he made it exciting. He used to make shit shine.
By himself.
Yeah, by himself.
Joey Styles was the fucking man in the booth.
Yes.
Joey Styles was able to make anything pop because with the excitement in his voice, the timbre of his voice, and the way that he would be super animated, it helped everything.
Look, little Guido would do a power bomb, and he would make it sound like he just murdered the motherfucker. All right, they'd be like, "Yeah, he was the man."
I'm taller than
I'm
little Guido.
agreeing with you guys when you're saying how Impact needs to be more like ECW was in the aspect
not more
of the
like
revolving door of talent to help bolster their roster. Because let's face it, you need to make your Taz's. You need to make another RVD. You need to make another Sabu. You need to make the Pitbulls again. You have to have that core group of superstar for your roster, so you can have that name recognition, that whatever it is going to be where people know when this music kicks up, I'm going to have this level of excitement or hatred for this guy because I know he's a staple here.
Jack, you just said it.
Anytime you heard the Sandman music kick in,
there you go.
You knew it may not have been the best wrestling match, but you were excited.
And it wasn't.
You can say that. You can say that about New Jack. New Jack could be an asshole. He was educated, one of the best educated people I've ever seen in wrestling.
Yeah,
he had his way to do things, but if you asked him, he could tell you exactly what you were doing wrong. We've been back there. He was unapproachable at times, but if you walked up to him and you had to take his criticisms the way you had to take them, and you say, "Yo, what could I have done?" Jack could sit there and explain the whole match to you in 5 minutes. But when you were at the arena, everyone knows what happened when you heard his music. The whole arena would jump up. Would just jump up. Everybody would jump up and go crazy. Jack had to do the minimal. He could wrestle his ass off.
Yeah.
Everyone knew it, but he didn't have to. He had already established himself. He knew how to push himself. He knew how to push his product. He knew what the people wanted, and I will always give him credit for that. Some of the things they said he's done, there's always two sides of the story. It's not my business. But like I said, that dude knew what he was doing when it came to selling the product and selling himself. Same thing with Sandman. You had to put the good with the bad. Yeah. He knew what to do. You know what I mean? The Pitbulls, Gary and Anthony. Listen, I love Anthony more than any. He was the nicest dude I ever met.
Yes.
Me and Gary was too, but Anthony, I remember being in the ring with him, and he'd be like, "Lay it in there, brother. Let's make it look good." And you're like, all right, you know. But dudes like that aren't there anymore.
No,
you know,
not.
In the business, dudes like that are just not here anymore. You want to say that, you know, they're not here. You know, who love the business, if you look out in the crowd, there's 80 people there, they could care if it was 80 or 10,000. They want those 80 people to pop. Guys now, they look out, oh, it's not a big crowd. I'll go half-assed.
And that's because
not even half-assed. They phone it in completely.
When they're being trained.
Hold on. What'd you say, LeGrande?
I said they phone it in completely.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
The way we were taught, and the way I beat it into people, and I literally mean beat it into people, was whether it's 1 or 1 million, you give them their fucking money's worth.
But practice was the same way.
Damn hard to make that money, to give up that little 2-3 hours to watch you ply your craft. You give them everything you fucking got because they just gave you food out of their family's mouth.
You know what, though, Slut? You made the point. You just made the point because you said right in the beginning of your sentence, we were taught. Yes. And that's what it comes down to. When these guys are being trained, and how about it? We've all been in training centers. We've all seen how people do. How about it? You would sit there when you guys trained me. Okay, so I got to train.
Don't you ever sit there and embarrass me like that.
You left, Slut, the guy I had, motherfucker. Anyway, but
hey, Mark, hold on, man.
You trained Mark, maybe.
No, hey, Mark. All I'm saying is, one of the best shows I've ever done was at the arena, and the goddamn security guards were bumping.
That's right. That's right.
I was saying, no one knew what was going to happen. They surprised me. I was like, okay, let's just go with this.
Slut always told me, this has to be believable.
Yes.
When you put a hold on, don't just hold my hand.
Yes.
Wrench it in. Make it look like you're actually doing this. It has to be believable.
No, and if they don't sell, Slot, what's the word?
You make them sell.
Make them sell. And that's what I was taught.
But then make you fucking scream.
But then you get some people that are at a training center and it's Marks training Marks. That's where you get a problem because they're like, yeah, that would be cool if you did this. That would be cool if you did that. Oh, I saw this on TV. I'm going to try this. And you know what? Kudos to you. If athletically you want to try a moonsault and you can pull it off, good for you. But you know what, though? That doesn't make you a competent wrestler.
No, but you see NXT. Let's go back to NXT now.
Yes.
They have the William Regals. Regal don't play that shit. He's old school. No. You need them old school dudes in there. They be like, look, y'all look like shit. You know what I mean? That's what you need. I'm sorry. They make it believable. They make you work. Mm-hmm. They make you. You know, I remember watching Raven at times. I've been in the room and in the back, and he'd be back there, and he goes, yo, dude, that punch was shit. You know, and you would hear him, and you would laugh because I was young, and I'm thinking it. So now when I went out there, yo, you better be ready in case I do make contact by accident, but I made it as real as possible. We used to train on the wall. You would go and hit the wall till you make it look real, till you don't hurt your hand. These guys don't do that shit anymore. All right?
Right.
So you got to bring Impact needs to bring some old school in with the new school. Have the old school push it with these. There's a lot of athletic kids out there. I'm like, God damn, look at this guy.
Yeah.
But they're not taught correctly. So,
and you know, though, I think a lot of times too. Obviously, you're stuck with the cards you have. Right.
Absolutely.
So whatever people you have there, this is what you have to work with. No. And I think a lot of the problem is too is saying, all right, we can come up with ideas. We are competent writers.
Yeah.
But I think a very competent writer has the ability to say, and I'm not busting you, Mark, but Mark's the guy I got to work with, right? Yeah. And I got this great idea. But if I just apply this idea to Mark, Mark's going to fuck it up because it ain't going to look right. Right? Not because he can't do it, but because it doesn't match him. I have to now rewrite my thought to match him. And I think that's where a lot of the writers are losing it because they're just putting storylines with people and they're not modifying it to fit that character.
Listen. Did we say this earlier? Didn't I say that, Mark? What did I say earlier? You can't just have writers. You need boys that know what they're doing. Yeah. I can look at. That's like taking me
back with that cookie cutter bullshit.
There you go.
Right.
So we agree. Impact needs those people because we're trying to save Impact on this episode, right?
Yes. Yes. No, Mark. Seriously.
Mark. No, real quick.
Hold on, Dan. You could never take me and make me a John Cena character. All right.
No.
And that's what they're trying to do with some of these guys.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Well, Eric Young had an interview this past week where he said that, and I'm reading a transcript of his interview, where he said that everybody in WWE was told to bump the same way, to sell the same way, and you're losing personality by doing that.
Yes.
That's control. That is control. Yeah. That's exactly that's WWE control. Isn't every interview the same exact way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Every single one, from Braun Strowman to Roman Reigns to fucking
AJ Styles.
They all do the same interview. And it's control. I have a format and this is what it's going to be. It's almost like the TV dinner has the sections plotted out for the meat, the corn, the fucking brownie, and this. It's cookie cutter like LeGrande just said.
I've never heard that analogy before, but
you understand exactly what I said.
I'm gonna go with it. But like I said,
now you're hungry.
Impact needs a little bit more freedom.
Yes.
Let these guys, Impact, they still have TV. You can work a lot with TV. Guys will come to you because you have TV. All right? You can give them more of a product percentage if you have to. Like if we sell your shirts, we'll give you, this is just a number, 5% instead of 2%. If you come and help us. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But you got to let these guys work their gimmicks, their characters. You have to let them kind of build themselves in a way. Yes. You have to control them. Don't get me wrong. You're not letting them just run wild. Right. All right. But you got to have some originality. There's no originality left in wrestling.
In this last
Because let's
15 minutes or
face it, let's
so,
face it, you
yeah,
got
go ahead.
guys, for instance, I'm going to WWF, whatever. Big Show, Mark Henry, all the big guys. Then you throw in Rikishi.
Yeah.
They all
Right.
take a big clothesline, big move. Everybody falls straight back. Rikishi gets turned inside out. Who do you
Yeah.
remember?
Rikishi.
Yeah.
Rikishi flipping and flopping and getting turned inside out off that big move.
Yep.
Because he made it his own.
Yep.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
knew that character. Like, if he gets hit with that real big one, even though he's big, he's going to flip the flop. When all the rest of them just flop down on the mat.
I ain't gonna lie. A couple moves Braun Strowman did lately. I was like, damn, big man can move. Let him move. Let the dude do his thing.
Right.
Let him move.
And how many
Let
times
him
have you
move.
said that they're not allowed to do what they can do?
Oh,
A
yeah,
lot.
listen.
Yeah, for years
Listen.
you've been that.
We were over at Larry Sharp's training one day, and I remember this clear as day. I was probably 25 at the time. Paul White was there. He was still the W. I watched him do a moonsault. And I
Yes.
said, what the fuck just happened? Everyone stopped. And I was just like, could you imagine him doing that when he was in WWE? Just one
Or even
time.
WCW. How big that would
One
have popped.
time. Everybody would have went nuts. That's why this new, what's his name, an NXT champion,
Keith Lee.
Keith Lee is incredible.
Yes.
I don't like Dodge or Djokovic.
Djokovic? Come on, man.
Wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute.
He's
Wait a
good.
minute.
He's
Let
an
me
ROH
finish.
guy.
Wait a minute. Let me finish. He's okay, but if you watch, some spots he misses because he's too big. He can't do it. He's trying to keep up with Keith Lee.
Awkward. He's awkward.
Stay within your
Wheelhouse.
and
Yes.
you're good. He is good, but stay in that. Don't try to deviate. You know.
In the last 8 or 10 minutes or so, let's go around and let's give our key points. How your hand at Impact Wrestling, Mark, LeGrande, Charles, Dan, you fix this. What are you going to do? Let's go with Mark first.
Well, I gave my big explanation earlier, so let me just shorten it down.
Yeah, give me the summary thing.
Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to establish, like LeGrande said, establish your core group of people. I want to sign the Motor City Machine Guns to a decent contract. Moose has all the talent in the world, and he's a dominant champion thus far. So you signed your core group. I want to reach out to everybody who got released, whether it's Kurt Hawkins, whether whoever, Zack Ryder, and just say, hey guys, 90-day deal. Here you go. We have an end for you. If you decide to move on, we have a beginning for you. You fill in the middle, and help us get our talent over. And I would reach out to other people as well. Ken Shamrock is still around, and
He's there.
He's doing well. So
Yeah.
I would just try to tighten everything. There's no fans. This is the time to experiment. This is the time where you say, okay, go out and do a promo. And you know what? Make it a worked shoot for all I care. Just go out there and get people to watch.
Especially if they earn the network.
And right. And no, let's be honest. I'm not watching Impact. Nobody's watching Impact, but we saw the highlights of Slammiversary on our Facebook pages. It's all over. Give me a 30-second, 1-minute clip that I can share on my social media that says, hey, this person's legit. This person's back. Maybe I should tune in to watch Impact Wrestling, because look at what this guy said about Vince McMahon. Just give him the opportunity. And that's where my association with ECW was. We're not looking for the next hardcore. We're not looking for that. We're looking for a place, a feeder system that somebody can go to, work on their craft, and then sign that next contract in AEW or New Japan.
Right.
So basically, I already said that earlier. That's what I would do to save Impact Wrestling. I had this conversation on other podcasts I'm part of, and that is, again, I said it earlier, there was a time in TNA when I was watching every single week. It was around the Aces and Eights era, the Austin Aries.
Yes.
That product, I would
Great time.
I would, and the ratings were only like 2.1 million only. Yeah. I would give anything to have that back. I would bring in Austin Aries. What's he doing? Where's he at?
Right.
These are all things I would do to help Impact Wrestling, and if all else fails, you have the NWA, who's future's unknown. You had Dave Lagana get mixed up in that speaking out movement. So the NWA has no writer, no lead writer. Billy Corgan only has so much money. I mean, who knows what the NWA is going to go? We've seen talent go to AEW, like Ricky Starks. Who's the guy that just debuted against Cody last week?
What's the name? Eddie Kingston.
Eddie Kingston. So there's talent that's going to AEW. I bring in some of that. Bring it back, Eli Drake, who was a former TNA champion, right? So bring in these guys, have them come back, and just do what you can to get people to. People are talking about it. You got me to talk about it, which is a big coup. I'm sorry. I know that Impact doesn't care what I think.
Fans, it really is a big coup because Mark wants nothing to do with the promotion.
Yeah, I want nothing to do with it. Yeah. I've been burned too many times. Yeah. So, you know what? I won't watch, but I will at least pay attention.
You will. You'll do your part. Charles, go ahead. Charles, go ahead.
I never like to admit this, but I have to agree with Mark on a lot of key parts that Mark said. Mark, I always give you shit, but you my man. But you got to get a core group that gives a damn. All right, who's willing to go out there and give it his all. First thing, bring in some older guys. Bring in even as writers or talent, not even talent, not even trainers, just advice. Like I would go after like Bubba Dudley. Bring guys in that can go. It's like that guy up until is he my age? He'd be in the ring, look like 1,000%. You can always tell the difference. The guys that were still hungry, who love to do what we do. Take some of these young guys who have no personality, try to work with them. If you can't work with them, sorry, go back to the indies, get some work, and I'll gladly bring you back. Guys that got released, bring them in, like Mark said. Give them 90-day contracts. We got this little, we got a 90-day thing we want to do with you. If you're willing to do it, we're not going to squash you or anything, but we want you to help build our talent. Are you cool with that?
Right,
and if you're not, guess what? If you're not, fuck it. I don't need you.
Yeah.
You're not going to make money anywhere else. And New Japan, I'll bring some of those guys over. Like they were doing before. Absolutely, they got a lot of talent over there.
Mm-hmm.
Bring, as always, even go with some of the Mexican wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
They're incredible, but you don't want too much of it.
No. Don't let it dominate.
Want too much. No, just every now and then you bring it in, the little luchador stuff like that. Things like that. But you got to get people that care, and they have to get tighter in the ring. They need some more, like I said, wellness policy. Like I said, female wrestling in WWE is actually better than some of the male stuff. They're trying to compete with that. If they're going to compete, tell the girls they have to tighten up a little bit. Like I said, I like Tessa. Tessa work tight. If you're not willing to work tight, I kind of don't need you. If you're going to zoom in on people, I don't want to be able to tell what you're going to do or you calling the damn match. Or I can watch your mouth moving and things like that. Dumb things have to go. And get storylines. Go a little old school storylines. Little, jump. I always say this all the time. Y'all know that. Jumped in the parking lot. Go to someone's house. Beat them up. Shit like that. Just make it so you're like, oh, damn, he went to his house, kicked his ass. This is great. And called his wife a trick. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like with Samoa Joe and AJ Styles at that time. That was pretty good. It was a little old school.
Yes.
Do things like that to get people interested and see where it goes from there. If not, you might have to just rebrand everything, get rid of everybody, and hope you get a big backer. But you're not going to compete with Vince because it's all flash. You want to have people like a core group, like Mark said, ECW, get like a core. Everywhere ECW went, when you looked on it, it was packed.
Right.
It was packed. I remember being down in the arena in the back. You look out there at 6:30, you're like, damn, this is going to be dead. At 7:05, it was standing room only. Things like that. Hopefully they can build that. Then you can feed off of that. Then you would have guys that would want to come there. They want to come there. And then you can build from there. But like I said, you got to get old school guys in there to help write, talk to these guys. You just can't have a guy that's a writer, that's bullshit. If you haven't been in the business or you haven't been around the business, you can't tell me what to do. Like, you think a writer's going to tell me, a Gemini, I'm like, what? Man, fuck you. You know, like, really? You want me to do what? That doesn't make sense. You know, you got to make it make sense, and hopefully they'll get a following and build from there. LeGrande, go ahead.
LeGrande, go ahead.
No, basically you said everything that I've already stated, and it's the truth. It's the truth.
But
Because
LeGrande, I have a question. Wait a minute. Did I say boogity boogity though?
no,
No. All right, motherfucker. All right.
but I'm just saying, because where they have the William Regals, what's Fit Finley doing right now?
There you go.
Right.
There you go.
Bring
Yes.
in your Fit Finleys to help groom the guys in the back
Yes.
about
Yes.
believability, and you got so many people you can go to help them with their promos.
Yes.
One of the problems that you're having is there's no emotional content. There's no reason to believe or want to believe in somebody. One of the greatest stories ever told was Rocky.
Yes.
From a theatrical standpoint, one of the greatest stories ever told was Rocky. From Rocky 1, it was all about you got emotionally invested in Rocky Balboa.
Yes.
And that's what every single fucking match is. You draw somebody in, you take them through the highs and lows, and then you give them the payoff. Whether it's a win or a loss, you give them the payoff. Because in Rocky 1, Rocky lost. And then it was about Rocky 2, the redemption, coming back. Will he be able to do it this time?
Right.
Gaining the respect of everybody. That's everybody in the locker room, everybody watching at home, everybody who paid their money to the seats. That's what it's about. You have to have people invest in you. And if you just go out there doing fucking moves to pop the boys in the back, you're fucking worthless.
Now, can I ask you a question, Slot? Like we were saying before, I don't want to use names because AEW and Mark tell me if I'm wrong. A perfect person that could have been writing for Impact is Taz. If you ever listen to Taz, Taz was a motherfucker. And he would tell you, some of his interviews that he did back in the day, he would just go off script and just go off. Dusty Rhodes would do it. Roddy Piper. They had emotion. They had love for it. That's what you need now in like an Impact. You need that feeling, you know? Like I said, Bubba Dudley, New Jack. That motherfucker used to say shit. I remember standing next to him and say he pulled that out of his ass, and he'd be talking about it in the back like 2 minutes before and going the whole story, you know? But these guys, you got to give people the emotion. Like you said, Jack said. I mean, Slaw said, you got to give them the emotion. We're looking for that beginning. Every show, you need to tell a story, not try to run this super long storyline that just doesn't make any sense. You know,
now,
every match has to ebb and flow. Everything has to have.
What I kind of find funny here is that on all three of you, and you went for the core stuff, what is being presented, the product, and all three of you said, you need to tighten this up, you need to do that, you need to do this. What I would do is I would Jim Crockett promotion the fuck out of it. And what I mean by that is this, is take what I have first, because remember, it's a business. So I got to kind of like start at a certain spot. Production wise, the first thing I would do is I would limit my microphones in the ring, and I would limit my camera angles to give me, like you said, that one camera shoot, that studio feel, etc. And I would dumb down the mics in the ring so that what they're saying is not the focal point. What they're doing is, okay? I would take my commentators, like I said before, because they are translating the story that's being told in the ring.
Just give Joey Styles a lot of money and have him come
Joey
back.
Styles a lot of money, right? Joey Styles in it, right?
And let's face it, you can fix the whole in-ring. Look, how many times in Jim Charles, you know damn good and well what I'm talking about. I knock somebody down, get your punk ass up and take this clothesline, bitch. I don't care if the mic's hurt. You know a clothesline's coming, but you know, oh shit, he done told him he's gonna take his fucking head off.
Yeah,
And,
but you know
instead,
what I mean.
all you get
Wait,
is,
wait a minute. I
okay,
don't know what you're
fellas,
talking
you're going to
about.
get up here.
But
You're
no,
going
listen.
to get the fuck out of here. Get up,
I mean,
punk. I'm going to
I
drag
would.
your fucking teeth down your throat.
There you
I
go.
would do that. I would
There you
do
go.
that. I would also bring my camera angles back. Like they're really like right up in your face when you're watching. That's what gives you that amphitheater feeling
Yeah.
in Impact. Because the camera is about 10 feet away from the ring, the
Yeah.
main camera. That shit would have to go back farther and give me a little bit more of a farther shot, darken the arena like they used to do back in the day to make it look like there's more people than what there's there. And then I would, and like I said, with new commentators and that's how I would present the show. Do everything you guys said. Make this tighter. I need a tighter performance from you guys. I need this. I need this. I need this, and work with what I have first to try and get myself a consistency. Bring in not many, but one or two old heads that could maybe project a storyline one way or the other, and
But
put
I'm
over.
gonna cut you off. If I'm watching you after 3 months and you're not pulling your weight, bye.
Yeah. Well,
If
yeah.
you
I like the
if you're
90-day
not,
contract, like Mark
yeah,
said.
yeah.
What are you
All right.
outside? What are you on a highway?
I live on
Oh,
Roosevelt
is
Boulevard.
that
Come
what you're
on,
doing?
man.
Is that what it is? I thought you were on the sidewalk with this. No, but that's what I would do in that sense. I think it's funny how the NWA, which is a much smaller money and much smaller promotion, put out a better product than Impact Wrestling in the studio. Right or wrong? I think so. I think the NWA product, when you watched Power, I got more enjoyment out of that than I did out of an Impact Wrestling program of 2 hours.
They kept it more personal. That's why.
Yeah.
You're right. Okay. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So they
All right.
worked with it and made it what it was. How
Well,
did ECW do so well? ECW went with what they could do, and they didn't. Paul Heyman said this. Billy Corgan said this. Do not compete with WWE.
No.
Unless you have Turner money, there's no reason to do that. You
and the only company that did was WCW, but they let the boys run the back room after a while.
Right.
And that's what shit on it.
But the point that Paul Heyman said was, he said, why would I do a shit effort of competing with that when I could do a great effort of doing this? And that's exactly what it is. You need to, you got to keep your eye on your competition, of course. But let's face it, WWE is not, in a way, is not competition for anybody.
They're billionaires.
Nobody's on that level. Nobody's on that level. No. So really, WWE is not competition. It really is not. They're not putting out the same product. AEW is doing real well against NXT because those two products are kind of similar.
Yeah.
But Raw and AEW, that's not the same thing.
No.
It's not at all. And therefore, you can't compare apples to oranges. It's as simple as that. It goes back to common sense with everything. So when you're writing, just don't worry about them. You do you. Now, granted, plagiarism is key in everything. And in wrestling, it's the Bible. You plagiarize against everybody. Everybody redoes everybody's gimmick. We know this. But try and think outside the box. Try and take something and modify it a little bit.
Wait a minute. Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
There was only one Way Cool Jr., and thank God, but go ahead.
I've never heard anybody talk so much and say so little. I mean,
you son of a bitch. Because let me tell you something. You son of a bitch.
Man. What are you going to do to change Impact? You're talking about production standards.
Yeah, I am. Because production standards is a reason why it looks like crap.
Hey, Mark.
I got this for you. WWE, hold on, Charles. WWE has the best production, and I don't watch them. Yeah. So
I don't watch them for a completely different thing.
But Mark, I'm glad you said that because I didn't want to hurt his feelings. But go ahead.
Sorry, but let me tell you something. I can hit this fucking switch and it'll be a one-man show in about 3 seconds.
Hey, Mark. See, that's how he treats us, right? That's how he treats us.
We don't get paid enough for it.
No.
One of the biggest compliments I ever got is when we were working with New Jack, and
yes.
It wasn't an ECW; it was another company in Philadelphia, running out of the Northeast. Coming off the street, we used to do pre-show tryouts.
Oh
to
yeah.
see if
Yeah.
you can your students and this, that, and the other. And
Yeah.
Jack was having everybody do this, that, and the other. He was having a hard time, and he was getting pissed and blah blah blah. I come in off the streets in my street clothes. He looks me dead in the face and says, "You didn't know my fucking name. Get in the ring. Show them how to do this." In 3 seconds, I had them doing everything Jack wanted them to do.
Yes, he did.
He said, "How does this motherfucker coming off the streets in his street clothes, and he can get these people to do just about anything he wants them to do and do it great." That was one of the biggest compliments I ever got from New Jack. And that
But
is a
he didn't know
testament to
he
Jack.
didn't know you drank. He didn't know you drank a half a bottle of rum before that. But go ahead.
And you know what? And that's why I fired Charles as my trainer, and I hired him Slot on. That's why that
I'm
happened.
just saying, it's about getting in there and the
Yes.
passion, like you said, the
Yes.
passion you have
The
for it,
passion.
Yeah.
because it all shines through. When you really don't give a shit, it shows.
Yes.
It
It
absolutely
shows. It
It
shows.
does. It does.
It absolutely shows. It does. Like even right now, if you watch, I've been watching a little bit of WWE. It's time to let Seth Rollins go and have a break. He's been there. He's been going too long, too strong. Now it's to the point you can see it in his face. It's all
He's getting
routine.
into that. He's getting into that John Cena
Yeah, it's
territory.
routine. It's routine for him. Let the guy go take 3 months off. You know what I mean? And
Well,
come back. You
the
know, well, he
thing is-
probably will be.
Let
Yeah,
him recharge.
exactly. Yes.
The thing is, though, as far as Impact Wrestling is concerned, I think we all know what they need to do. I think we all would like to see what they should do. I think personally, as of right now, they've made good strides in not only picking up the talent that they've done in the last month or so, but also they changed all the champions over to give us an all fresh new thing because everybody had the title for over a year. It was stale. So they changed up everybody. Every single title got changed over, except for that TNA title, which relatively is only on Moose for about a month anyway. Okay.
All right.
I'm not a Moose fan. He's a good athlete. He just doesn't do anything for me. But it's kind of good to have that mid-card title that means something. That doesn't mean you don't have to be like 180 pounds to fucking wrestle for it. You know what I mean? Like it's good to have
Every federation needs an intercontinental title. You have your main big push belt.
Yeah.
You need that workhorse belt. You need that belt that you give to that guy that gives 170% every fucking time. Who can push the building, push the show, push the fans, make things work.
Now, here's the deal, though. They have to differentiate between Impact World Championship and that title. They do have to make that difference because you can't have two world titles.
All right,
You
Mark,
cannot.
why are you so quiet?
He's taking it in.
I thought we were going to wrap the show up 10 minutes ago. That's all.
All right.
I was trying to.
All right, look, I'm done.
But guys, I think
No,
that's
LeGrande, that wasn't a shot towards you, LeGrande. That was a shot towards the guy in the red shirt.
Thank you.
I'm trying to wheel it in. Don't shoot at me, you sons of bitches.
LeGrande's the only one who's kept it on topic, man. Come on now.
Wait a minute. I kept going back. Shut up. But go ahead.
This is what I have to deal with. Guys, hit that subscribe button down below.
Thank you.
Hit the notification bell. Leave us some comments. How would you save Impact Wrestling? Do you even watch it? Does it matter to you? Does Mark's beard look a little too white? Give us these comments down below. We want to see this. Make sure you're checking us out right here. We're going to be putting out, obviously, some more That Way Cool Wrestling shows out, as well as some of the other ones like Breakout. We got brand new wrestling shows coming out, and we are very proud to announce that Way Cool Wrestling Show is the official and exclusive podcasting show for the upcoming return of the North American Wrestling Alliance, the NAWA, which is a tri-state area federation that was big in the 80s. They were a feeder fed to the WWF at the time and are coming back, and we are the exclusive podcasters for that. We are very excited about that, very blessed. And I'm so happy for Mark and LeGrande and Charles and myself to have this opportunity. So that's going to be a big thing. Check out the playlist. They have their own playlist right on the channel. Check out the wrestling playlist. We combined everything to make it a little bit easier for everybody. And check out some of the other shows as well. We have a brand new show that just came out yesterday, Bite Me, which is all about horror and the psyche about it. And it's very, very neat. It's going to be a great show. You're going to want to love that as well. For Mark Lindsay, for LeGrande Jackson, for Charles Gemini Gregory, my name is Danny J. Until next time, we'll see you at the matches. Goodbye, everybody.
The was produced by DJB Productions. Go to www.thatwrestlingshow.com.